Most men fail to create depth not because they lack charm, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they enter interactions seeking an outcome instead of establishing internal alignment. The moment you begin thinking about how to make her feel something, your attention shifts away from presence and into performance, and performance is sensed immediately at a subconscious level. Human nervous systems are designed to detect incongruence. When your words aim to impress while your internal state seeks approval, she feels the tension between what you present and what you need. That tension weakens polarity. Connection is not built through speed or technique. It is built through regulated presence. If you want to create a shift in 3 minutes, the shift must first occur inside you. Before you speak, your breathing must slow. Before you ask a question, your mind must settle. Emotional steadiness communicates security without declaration. Security lowers her defenses more effectively than charm ever could. When you are fully present, not scanning her reactions, not anticipating the next move, not mentally competing for validation, you become psychologically rare. Rarity attracts attention. Attention deepens awareness. Awareness fosters intimacy. Presence is not passive, it is intentional focus. When you put distractions away and allow silence to exist without anxiety, you create an atmosphere of emotional containment. Containment signals that you are not chaotic internally. When a woman senses that you are emotionally self-governed, she relaxes. Relaxation is the doorway to authentic disclosure. Disclosure builds connection faster than any rehearsed line. Yet most men sabotage this moment by filling silence too quickly. They fear pauses because pauses expose vulnerability. In reality, pauses create depth. When you hold eye contact calmly and let her finish speaking without interruption, you demonstrate restraint. Restraint implies control over impulse. Control over impulse signals maturity. Maturity fosters trust. Trust builds emotional safety. Emotional safety allows subtle attraction to emerge naturally rather than being forced. Curiosity, when genuine, amplifies this safety. Curiosity is not interrogation, it is attentive exploration of her internal world. When you ask what has been occupying her thoughts recently and you listen without redirecting attention toward yourself, she feels valued. Being valued activates attachment circuits within the brain. Attachment circuits deepen connection through perceived understanding. Understanding does not require dramatic emotional exposure. It requires accurate reflection. If she shares something meaningful and you respond by acknowledging the emotion behind her words rather than competing with your own story, you communicate that her experience matters. Matter signals significance. Significance increases emotional investment. Emotional investment strengthens attraction over time. However, curiosity must remain grounded in detachment. If you ask questions with the hidden agenda of escalating intimacy quickly, she senses pressure. Pressure activates caution. Caution restricts openness. The difference between curiosity and strategy lies in your internal motive. When your motive is exploration rather than acquisition, your energy shifts. She perceives this shift not intellectually, but biologically. The body relaxes around calm interest and tightens around expectation. Your posture, tone, and pacing reinforce this distinction. Slow, deliberate speech communicates confidence. Rapid, over-eager responses communicate insecurity. In these first minutes, every micro-behavior signals either composure or urgency. Urgency diminishes power because it reveals dependence on outcome. Composure preserves power because it indicates self-sufficiency. Authenticity becomes the final component that transforms presence and curiosity into depth. Authenticity is alignment between thought, emotion, and expression. It does not mean dramatic confession. It means measured honesty. If something resonates with you, acknowledge it calmly. If you do not know something, admit it without defensiveness. When your responses are congruent with your internal state, she experiences coherence. Coherence fosters reliability. Reliability strengthens emotional security. Emotional security permits attraction to grow without fear. Many men equate vulnerability with weakness and overcompensate with exaggerated confidence. True strength is controlled transparency. Controlled transparency allows her to feel that you are real without feeling overwhelmed. Overexposure creates instability. Stability creates trust. When presence, curiosity, and authenticity combine, time compresses emotionally. 3 minutes of fully regulated interaction can produce more impact than hours of distracted conversation. Emotional intensity per second matters more than duration. Yet this intensity must be calm rather than dramatic. Drama activates anxiety. Calm activates intrigue. Intrigue invites her to lean in voluntarily. Voluntary engagement generates stronger connection than persuasion ever could. The transformation from friendship into something deeper never occurs because of a specific phrase. It occurs because perception changes. Perception shifts when your internal stance shifts from seeking to centered. If she senses that you are not subtly waiting for approval, she reassesses your position in her mind. Reassessment introduces uncertainty. Uncertainty, when paired with safety, creates attraction. Attraction flourishes in balanced tension. Balanced tension requires restraint. Restraint requires self-awareness. Self-awareness stabilizes power. When you remain steady regardless of her immediate reaction, you communicate that your worth is not contingent upon her validation. That independence is compelling because it removes emotional pressure from the interaction. She no longer feels responsible for regulating your mood. Without that burden, she can experience curiosity freely. Curiosity leads to exploration. Exploration fosters deeper emotional intimacy. Throughout these minutes, the key is proportion. Respond proportionally to her energy. If she shares lightly, respond lightly. If she reveals depth, receive it without escalating beyond her comfort. Emotional pacing preserves safety. Safety maintains connection. Connection built through safety is sustainable. When you hold yourself with grounded composure, you become the stable axis around which conversation revolves. Stability attracts because it contrasts with the reactive intensity she encounters elsewhere. By the end of those 3 minutes, the goal is not to secure an outcome. The goal is to leave her nervous system calm yet intrigued. Calm signals safety. Intrigue signals possibility. Possibility invites continuation. If you exit the interaction without over-explaining, without forcing future plans, without seeking reassurance, you maintain polarity. Polarity sustains attraction. Ultimately, the deeper truth is this: connection cannot be manufactured, but it can be invited through disciplined presence. When you shift from impressing to observing, from performing to aligning, from chasing to containing, you alter the entire emotional dynamic. 3 minutes become powerful not because they are short, but because they are intentional. And when you operate from internal steadiness rather than external validation, you no longer measure connection by immediate results. You measure it by your own composure. That composure is the real foundation of power. When you remain centered, attentive, and authentic without attachment to outcome, you create depth naturally. And depth, when rooted in emotional regulation, transforms simple moments into lasting impressions without you ever needing to force the spark.